I can see myself. Let's see the waiting room. Admit all. Phew. Hello, everybody. If you can hear me, Richard, I'm looking at you, sir. Can you wave, Richard Wellman? You can hear me. That means Annabelle. It means that we're finally live. I am
Hello.
so sorry. I'm so sorry to you, Annabelle. I'm so sorry to everybody here that we had some technical gremlins, which I think is all down to the fact that I hadn't rebooted my laptop in days, and it laptop was just tired. But we're all a bit tired and haggard at the moment, Annabelle. How are you dealing with the weather?
Well, I'm a bit shiny. Apologies for the gleaming face here. Yeah, I mean it's boiling. My husband's from Seville in Spain, so I should have been used to this, but I'm not. I've been in the paddling pool half the day with my kids.
So how has your lockdown been? One thing which a lot of you are archers actors have actually said is that you still manage to work because you fundamentally a lot of you actually do a lot of voice work. So
Yes.
how's your lockdown been? And I've
Um,
talked my way into me embarrassing myself by you saying, "Oh my God, Royfield, I've had no work at all."
no, the first month I didn't. The first month was a sudden shock to the system when I was 24-hour homeschooling my two primary school age children, and the highs and lows that come with that were, pretty extreme. But we managed. But it was only in that first month, you just getting used to all being together in the same house for the first time in ages. And my husband's a teacher and was delivering live Spanish classes. And then suddenly the BBC sent this kit, and then I was doing some other voice work, and I did some other audio drama. I worked for a company called Big Finish. They produced lots of the Doctor Who audio dramas, so I did a bit of that,
Hmm.
and then I did the Archers. So yeah, it's been nice to have that. And I took on one job actually, not even realizing the remit. I got called by an old theatre director friend who's now directing theatre directors on a course. And he said, I need some professional actors to be directed via Zoom by some trainee theatre directors. It's an hour a day just for a week, and then you all perform your pieces at the end of the week. So I thought, great, I can fit in that around the kids. And then I was so anxious to get work at the beginning of lockdown. I just said, yeah, fine, I'll do it. Didn't actually read the whole email.
Hmm.
It was 6 hours a day being directed. So it was 2 hours, 9:30, 11:30, doing The Importance of Being Earnest, Lady Bracknell. 15 minutes off. Then you're doing a Woody Allen sketch with another director calling in from China. Then with another actor calling in from Brazil, all on Zoom being directed all day, all week. I mean,
Wow.
my kids didn't seem, it was brilliant fun. It was like being back in drama school. And then performing the show from my living room on the Friday with having to switch the video off, change costumes, get into another outfit, change characters. But it was actually, that was probably one of the best jobs I've done this lockdown. It was fantastic. I wasn't expecting to do that. So it was nice.
Do you think this whole experience with actors being able to work remotely, I'm not just talking about the Archers here, but like specifically, voice actors having studios at home. I know you had a studio at home before, but to do things like what you just did, are going to change the industry kind of going forward. Do you think there'll be like more on auditions online, etc.,
I
etc.?
mean, people for TV and film, it's very usual to do self tapes anyway, and I just think
Mm.
there'll be more of that. And I think, I mean, I do voiceovers for Sky TV sometimes. And I have to go all the way out to near Osterley, West London, and I've done a few jobs for them from home, which frankly sound pretty much the same, I think, quality wise. So you never know; they might start using people at home rather than calling them in. I mean, I don't think companies like Sky will suffer, obviously, but small little production companies that rent out their studios, they might suffer. So I don't know. I think the BBC and radio drama will not want to carry on like this, obviously, and they will want to get actors together in a studio again as soon as they can. But I didn't have a home studio before. I'd
Oh,
never
did you
set one
not?
up. No, 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 never, no. So it was only when the BBC sent the mic and the gear and all that I set it up. And I still don't have it set up. I need like 10 minutes to get it all, open my daughter's wardrobe, stick a mattress on one side, duvet on the other, and then take it all down so she can go to sleep at night. So yeah, it takes a while.
You're stunningly wasted on radio, and that's not just me being an old kind of flirty host and whatever. You gesticulate a lot because obviously I've
Oh
met you a
yeah.
couple of times now. There's the first Dum-de-dum awards, then you did a Dum-de-dum live with us. I don't remember all this hand waving.
Really?
No.
I'm married to a Spaniard. They gesticulate the whole time, and I'm a northerner, so I think we probably do gesticulate more.
How have you found the gear change between the old way of working, going up to the mailbox, being in that studio with your pals, with your muckers, to getting the script and talking into the microphone? Do you feel that like you're still portraying Kirsty Miller? Do you still feel like you're doing the arch, or does this feel like something else?
No, I still 100% feel like Kirsty Miller because I think because you know the character so well, I've been playing her for so many years, you can just slip into that straight away. I think the whole experience obviously is totally different, and part of the joy for me of doing the Archers is the whole camaraderie with my pals, the whole chat in the green room, all the banter. Uh, and actually, for me, since becoming a mother, it's getting away. It's my holidays to Brum. Getting on the train, grabbing a coffee, texting another mate to see if they're on the same train going up, having a catch up, staying the night in a hotel, going to the cinema by the mailbox in Birmingham. I mean, it's a treat for me now. I think when I started in the Archers, in my 20s, sometimes I go, oh God, I've got to go up to Birmingham today for one ep. But now I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I'll go for one ep. I'll stay 2 nights for one ep. I don't mind. So I miss that. That's what I miss. I mean, working from home has its benefits as well, obviously. And I've just been so grateful to still be able to work during all this. But I'm very much looking forward to going back to Birmingham.
It's not many people say going to Birmingham is a holiday. I'm a
It is.
proud Brummie. I'm a proud son of this city, but and even I will say that's generally a stretch for most people.
Oh, you got the Everyman Cinema and you got all the restaurants on the canal. Sun comes out, you have a nice little drink outside.
Well, this is the thing. We've done two Dum-de-dum lives in Brum now, and generally, some people come up for the whole weekend, and people that haven't been to Birmingham in a long time are always stunned. They'll go, "Oh my God, it's not how I thought it was going to be."
Yeah. I
So.
mean, I worked in Birmingham when I just left drama school. Before I was in the Archers, I did a play at Birmingham Rep. And
Mhm.
well, I've got family from Birmingham. My grandparents met at the Cadbury's factory. They worked for Cadbury's, and then they moved to Merseyside after the war. But yeah, so we had family and cousins in Birmingham for years. But didn't know Birmingham, and I stayed in Moseley and Diggs and worked at the Birmingham Rep. And then I got work in radio drama through that actually, and then through the radio drama got the job in the Archers. But I still, I mean, I don't like driving, so I always get the train up, and I've no idea all the flyovers and all that. I don't like all that through Birmingham, but this the city centre's great, and it's great for shopping, and it's good for theatre and cinema. But I mean, when we'll get to go back to those theatres and cinemas, I don't know.
That's a
Mm.
very good point. So we have to go all the way back, right? And oh, by the way, I need to quickly say thank you everybody for reminding me to switch on YouTube, but I had switched it on. So thank you, Kerry Warbis, my partner in crime, and oh crumbs, was it Laura Jackson that said tell him to switch on YouTube? So I said hello to everybody on YouTube. Um, you came when you came into the show. Obviously we talked about this before, but there's going to be a lot of people who won't have heard that conversation before. What were you told Kirsty Miller was going to be?
Very little. I was just told she was Tom Archer's girlfriend. That they were they're an eco warrior duo, and they'd been trashing some GM crop fields. And that was it. And I think I was given 4 episodes, and you don't get told any more than that, really. And they said to me, we don't want her sounding, or she's not from around here, but they didn't want her sounding posh. I think they didn't want to, to sound too regionally specific. So bizarrely, they wanted me to use my own voice, which I was not used to doing because I'd been doing lots of other radio drama, and I was always being told, either go Scouse or get rid of all northernness and go RP for Agatha Christie's and stuff. I was always used to doing different accents. So it's the first time ever I'd used my natural voice, which was weird at first. And I actually, when I'm doing a part, I accent and voice is the whole thing for me. Actually, it's how I get into the character. So not having a different voice or accent made it harder for me at first to get into Kirsty. But then, obviously, as the years go by, you have no choice.
And at what point if they say you're here for 4 episodes, then, dare I say, you must have been killing it, because those 4 episodes have lasted for what, some 21 years. So at what point did you go, crumbs, this isn't just a 4 episode gig, is it? I think, I can semi-rely on getting some work
Well,
from
honestly, I
you
don't
guys.
think I did think. I think you just wait month by month. You get told how many episodes you have for the next month, and there'll be months where you don't get any. They check your availability and you don't get anything. So you think, oh God, am I coming back? And I think I told you this before. In the early days, I had a temping job. I used to work at London Tourist Board, and I used to work in the post room, franking the post and putting it into people's pigeonholes and all that. And I had my own little room and I had a radio on. And I used to go up and do the arches, and then I'd come in the next day and I'd listen to the arches on the radio while I was doing my work. And I remember hearing one time, it was when we were all doing one of the Gilbert and Sullivans in the early days. I heard Tom Archer snogging another woman, Lauren or someone. I just thought, oh my God, no one's told me. No one's told me he's got another girlfriend. I thought, well, this is it. This is it. I'm out. I'm out. And it turned out that was all the beginning of Tom two-timing Kirsty or some sort of Christmas storyline, and I was back in. But you don't know, and you can be out for months and then suddenly get a call and go back in again. So you never depend on it. And each time we get a new editor, they might have a totally different opinion of your character. And that's happened with me. Storylines have totally changed and done U-turns with a new editor. So you just have to think, when I'm in, and make the most of it and enjoy it, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
But here's the thing, and again, we're going to touch on a theme which I know I've said to you before, right? But Kirsty Miller per se, her storylines are generally to do with her partner, aren't they? Generally have been. So in that way, I can only but imagine, if you're a jobbing actor, that you do feel incredibly like on tenterhooks, so to speak. So it's obviously a testament to you that you've been able to translate the writer's voice of Kirsty and actually make her into a fan favourite and almost an indispensable non-Archers character of the Archers.
Yeah, that's it. Because you think I'm not an archer, it would be very easy to get rid of me. And I certainly thought, even though I think the big turning point for me was I've been in the show for years, but in and out, and often just on the receiving end of conversations. And you read scripts, you think anyone could be saying this, really. I'm just feeding lines to another character who's got a big storyline. And I had quite a lot of that, because I think it was difficult for the writers to give Kirsty big storylines, because she wasn't related to any of the main characters. And, if anything happened to her parents, no one's going to really care. They don't know them. And it was only when Tom left Kirsty at the altar that we really felt for her and really saw her sort of fury and her strength. And that led then, I think the writers probably sort of went, oh, okay, we've seen a new side to Kirsty. Now we can give her this and this. And I think that sort of spurred things on a bit. But however, when Kirsty left Ambridge to go off for Costa Rica, and then she disappeared up north for 6 months or whatever, I thought, they're not going to bring her back. Why would they bring her back? She would never go back to Ambridge. And I'm sure lots of the listeners think that. But thank God she did, because that created more drama, again, with tension with Tom and Helen and everything. And I remember one of the directors saying, no, we do need characters like Kirsty in it who aren't members of the Archers family or the other main families. We need non-Archers people to be key characters. So it's been like that since, but you never know. You just don't know. And I mean, even last year I was out of it for a few months just because other people's storylines, there's so many characters, they can't have everyone in it all the time.
I'm going to disagree with you slightly. You said it was only when you had the scream, that people went, oh, crumbs, I like a bit of Kirsty. She's got some gravitas. I actually think it was when you were with the Sausage King in the 2000s, and he was messing you about, and then he goes off with the woman from the supermarket.
Yeah.
I think that's when people actually really, really felt for you, because also they're saying, why is she with him anyway? Because he's extremely one-dimensional. He's so just focused on his business and expanding his sausage empire, and people were like, why is she with him? Because she's nice. So I think we'd actually had the emotional payoff years before when you get back together with Tom, and then you let out that guttural wail at St Stephen's.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, and we had the whole Tom and Kirsty going to Glastonbury and they got back together there again and she sort of saved the day with his sausages and helped him out on the stall when Fallon
Oh, you have to
abandoned
say
him.
that one more time. What was it? Was it sausages?
Sausages.
Uh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, you've come back. You've come back.
Hello. Yeah. So, we had the Glastonbury storyline and then I think then Kirsty started getting involved as well in all the Christmas shows. And so that's fun because you get more interaction with other characters and that's always fun to show another side of your character.
Now, Ms. Dowler, people have come, spending their Friday evening with you,
I
not just
know.
because they want to see what your home decoration's like, though, it's ooh, look at her wallpaper. So, but also they want to do the Dum-de-dum quiz, right? So, and I say this every week, no pressure. I
Oh
was
my
going to say
God.
no pressure,
You're
but
not giving
everyone.
me a dum-de-dum quiz.
No, 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 but you
Oh
can
my
play
God.
along with it.
Don't
So
do.
if you need to get pencil and
Oh, I
paper,
do.
uh,
I do.
all right, you go and do that because I need to address the mass Dumteedumers and say that, as always, I messed up last week. And I messed up, folks, because I forgot to see what scores you all got last week. Hello, Catherine Richards and the little one. Oh, hello, Kerry Warbis with your lippy. Hello, Steve. Kerry, I'm going to unmute you in the second half so you can ask Annabelle some questions too. Don't be shaking your head. Nod. Hello, Christina. I think you're new. I don't remember seeing you before. Hello, I'm waving. And hello, Jane, up there in Newcastle land. So what I didn't do last week, everybody, was ask people. Hello, Claire Asprey. Is how many votes, how many questions you got right. So I think there were 8 questions last week, right? Did anybody get all 8? And I know Claire Asprey didn't. So if you got all 8 last week, give us a wave. Jan Mitchell, I thought you'd have got all 8. I thought you'd have aced it, Jan, over there in Vancouver. I'm looking at the second page. If you got 7, give us a wave or a thumbs up. Oh, Walter Gabriel's Ghost. All right, you're up, sir. Go for it.
Go
Well
for
done
what?
to you.
Yeah. Walt Gabriel's elephant, actually.
Oh, sorry, elephant.
It's Stephen here. I posted a question in the Fleck app, which I'd like to ask
Oh,
later on.
you're the Stephen Bowden.
I am.
Lovely to meet you, sir. Your question, you'll have to ask your question later. We've got you here
Absolutely.
on Zoom, so don't waste your opportunity. But props to you, sir. Big ups that you did that. And by the way, the question that was wrong was Claire Asprey's fault. She told me that that the relationship between Lizzie and Roy was consummated at the Isle of Wight festival. So blame her. It wasn't. It was at Greenfields. So Claire Asprey. Right, now we're coming on to the quiz questions, folks. It's that important. Oh, crumbs. All right, so that's not decided not to load. So let's go one more time. We've had a nightmare here today, and I'm so sorry, folks. So yeah, we have no quiz questions because the screen won't share. Let's try it one more time. This did happen when we had Terry Malloy on, and then it managed to fix itself. Right, I'm going to give this one last go, and if it doesn't work, right, okay, all right. So you're going to have me read out the Annabelle Dowler round questions, folks. I'm so sorry about this, which means there's going to be no picture round. So here we go. Let's go through these questions. And number 1. Where has Kirsty not worked? Is it A, Jack's Bar, B, Ambridge Organics, or C, in the village shop? I'll read these again. Where has Kirsty not worked? A, at Jack's Bar, B, at Ambridge Organics, or C, at the village shop? That is question number 1. What year were Tom and Kirsty arrested for crop damage? Now, if you've been paying attention to what Annabelle has said so far, you'll get this. Was it A, 1999, B, 2005, or was it C, 2010? So even if you didn't actually know this, you've been paying close attention to our chat so far, you can work this out. Was it 1999? Was it 2005 or was it 2010? After her first breakup from Tom, who did Kirsty date? Was it A, Sam Batten, B, Jasmine McCreary, or C, Christopher Hunky Blacksmith Carter? So, after her first breakup from Tom, who did Kirsty have a snoggle to with? Was it Sam Batten, Jasmine McCreary, or C, Christopher What a Hunk Carter? Question number 4. What year did Tom first jilt Kirsty? All right, so he's given around the houses as Tom Archer. Was it in 2005, 2010, or was it 2015? So is it 2005, 2010, or was it 2015? And then the last question was, after Kirsty's gut-wrenching scream at the altar, what did Joe Grundy say at the end of that episode? Was it A, I knew it would never last, but Dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum? Was it B, that scream could be remixed into a cheesy dance hit? Or was it C, where are we going to get our dinner now? So those answers again. Was it A, I knew it would never last, but, and then we faded out to the music. Was it B, because Joe Grundy was a big one for his early house music. So this one, probably this one, it's number B, letter B, sorry. That scream could be remixed into a cheesy dance hit, or was it C, where are we going to get our dinner now? So those are the questions for the Annabelle Dowler round, and hopefully, folks, we will, my computer will start to play and we'll be able to do the picture round before we have to say goodbye to Annabelle. Annabelle.
Yes.
You talked about, this kind of strength and the ballsiness of our Kirsty, and that you put it down to, or at least for you kind of realised that the character was coming into its own after you got jilted. You really played a really pivotal role, didn't you, through the whole Helen and Rob storyline. Was that one of your favourite storylines to be involved in?
Yeah, well, I think it was an amazing storyline. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, you can. It was, because it went on for such a long time in real time. So it was just really good to play, how Helen and Kirsty's friendship was rekindled, and then how Kirsty little by little started noticing changes in her best friend, how she really did not hit it off with Rob. I mean, we had a comedy with that when they were sort of playing opposite each other in the village show, which was, fun. But then it turned out she saw a darker side to Rob. She was the first one to pick up on that, right to the end when she was, trying to get Helen to ring the health self-help line, and then she was there for the actual stabbing and saved Rob's life, basically, because if she hadn't been there, Rob would have died. She called the ambulance. So there was so much to that storyline over, a 2-year period, right up to the trial at the end, which was also fantastic to play out. And it was a very important storyline, and it was a fantastic one, just purely from an acting point of view. So yeah, I think it was a really pivotal point in sort of Kirsty's journey as we've seen her so far, just because I think the listeners sort of, they might have been frustrated with her in the past for not standing up against Tom or whatever, but I think they really respected her and saw her as this amazing, strong character and friend to Helen.
What is Kirsty's kryptonite, do you think? What is her Achilles heel, her weak point? We've talked about the fact that the character has grown on us as listeners, and she doesn't take any nonsense. So it's going to be very interesting to see where the current storyline is going to go with your slave driver of a future husband. But what is Kirsty Miller 2020? What's her weak point, would you say?
Well, I mean, looking back on stuff, I would say she's always giving, she's always listening, she's always ready to give advice to other people, but she doesn't really open up herself that much, She, we saw, and with what she went through with the miscarriage, she kept everything bottled up for so long. And she doesn't like to rely emotionally on other people. She wants to be seen as strong and coping on her own, and it's okay. And I mean, I think this possibly now, it's a tricky one, because I know so many of the listeners will be frustrated that she's not picking up on stuff, that she's not seeing who Philip really is. But in fairness, there's not been that many clues for her. And I think there's a couple of things that myself, Annabelle, would think, oh, come on, you must have seen this, or why haven't you questioned him more about that? But I think when you look at what she's been through, I think you choose to see or not see certain stuff. I mean, when she's been, you can't underestimate what she suffered being dumped at the altar like that, and what it did to her confidence and everything. A whole life just trampled on, crashed, in one awful, 10 minutes. And to come back from that and then, get together with Tom briefly again, even if it was just that one night, but then for that to lead on to the pregnancy, and then her realization she didn't want to be with him, but that she would parent alone, and to have the strength to do that, and then to lose the baby so late. I mean, she really has been through a hell of a lot, and she doesn't talk about it much. She doesn't bring it up much. And I think she keeps a lot in, because I think if she let it all out, she'd crack. And I think with Philip, therefore, she's got this strong man in her eyes. He's a strong man. He's older. He's mature. He's not needy like Tom was. He hasn't sort of been ummed and ahed about her. He hasn't dumped her and then got back together with her. He's solid. And so she doesn't want to see anything breaking that. And you can understand that. So I can see that maybe her fault is now that she's been slightly blind to some, there's been the odd thing, possibly him driving to Norfolk. Why did she not question that he hadn't told her about that before? Why did she not question him more about Gavin and the laptop in the wardrobe? But who knows? Maybe this is all going to come out later. I do not know.
It's interesting when you talked about Helen, or at least when you talked about Kirsty's strengths, because I did kind of contrast it with Helen. And you're almost like yin and yang, considering you're supposed to be busy mates and stuff. And you talked about the pregnancy and the fact that you lost that child. And I was really kind of quite excited for that storyline, because I thought we're going to have some real kind of modern parenting here. Two adults that face up to their responsibilities and going to care for a child, but not actually be together. And I suppose we now have that with Pip and Toby, but I thought that's going to be you and Tom. But I'm so sorry about this. You'd think I'd actually switch off my my phone, everybody. There we go. And it's totally thrown me now, the fact that I had to turn off my volume. But what do you think that's the key reason why you and Helen, that was it? Because Kirsty was incredibly stoic about losing the pregnancy. We could see when she was going to work that really she hadn't kind of got over that and stuff, but she did bottle it up, and then finally it came out. Whereas if this was Helen, this would have been a constant inner and outer dialogue, wouldn't it? And I think we've lost Annabelle. If you can hear me, everybody, can you just wave? Yeah. I think Annabelle's internet is gone. So until she logs back on, Walter Gabriel's elephant, Stephen Bowden. Do you want to unmute yourself, sir? Why are you Walter Gabriel's elephant? What's the significance of that handle?
It came up in the Pargeter triptych.
Well, please, I haven't listened to all of the episodes yet.
So Nigel just mentioned in passing that Walter had suddenly acquired an elephant, and then the elephant had suddenly acquired a baby, and then it just suddenly disappeared with no explanation. The elephant was called Rosie, by the way, and the baby was called Tiny Tim. This was quite a while ago.
Can you hear me, Royfield?
We have you back, Annabelle.
I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. It just, you froze and I couldn't see or hear you.
Your internet went down, but no, listen, don't worry. Walter Gabriel's elephant entertained us in your absence, and he told us where he got the name from. So that was brilliant. So what I was wittering on to say was, you and Helen Archer, the friendship, is it because fundamentally you are opposites? You are stronger than her in the traditional sense. She's much more obviously angsty and worries about the way that she's perceived, where Kirsty just doesn't, does she? Kirsty just like, this is what I believe, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of do it. Is that at the heart of that relationship?
I think it is. I mean, and they're from very different backgrounds, really. You know, Helen's from this sort of posher farming background. Kirsty's from, I would say, a lower middle class background in the Wirral, Merseyside. So they're very different. But I think they became very close because she was her boyfriend's sister for 15 years, and she's been through so much with Helen. So it doesn't matter that they're incredibly different personalities. They've just been through a lot together, and especially, I mean, being together in that horrendous stabbing incident, that cements you for life, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I'd kind of forgotten that you and Brenda Tucker were super close back in the day. One of the lovely things, which after the scream, what I thought was really nice was the fact that you were frozen out, or at least you felt incredibly uneasy, and so did the Bridge Farm Archers with you. That was incredibly realistic, and of course, in real life, you'd have just got the hell out of Ambridge. You'd never come back, would you?
Yeah, of course. But I do think I like the fact that Pat and Tony had a real affection for Kirsty and still do. I think they still do. And Natasha is so different to Kirsty. So obviously they've adopted her now as their daughter-in-law. But I think Pat particularly will always have an affection for Kirsty. She was there. She was part of the family for so long.
Absolutely. Now at this point, Annabelle, I throw out the speaking cudgels to the great Dum-de-dum, or the great massive Dumteedumers. Hello, Maggie Dorsman. I don't think we've been formally introduced before. Yes, I'm looking at you. Oh, I like your scarf. Very cool. Oh, Nick and Neil are coming in. So if you have a question for our Annabelle, why don't you wave and you will be called upon. All right, Walter Gabriel's elephant. It's your second time to shine on the episode, sir. There you go.
Annabelle, Dumteedumers all know that Royfield was incredibly smug when it was revealed that Phillip Moss was up to no good with his modern slavery epic. When did you, Annabelle, not Kirsty, first discover what Phillip was really like, and how did you react?
Well, it's funny because we the actor who plays Philip, Andy, was called into the boss's office one day, and we were chatting, going, "Oh my God, something's going on." Yeah, because he'd said there's going to be a big storyline this year, and he said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll tell you." I said, "Look, you might not be allowed to tell me." And he went in, and he was in there for ages, and he came back into the green room, and he just went, "I'm really sorry." And I went, "It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I know you can't." And he said, I would tell you, but I just can't. I've been sworn to secrecy. So then, of course, I had to see him, month after month. But I think it was 2 months. And we'd be guessing. And Gareth, who plays Gavin as well, he didn't know. And we'd be going, what is it? What is it? Is it this? Have you got a second life? Have you got another wife and child? We were thinking of so many things. But the one thing we did not guess was...
Uh-oh. Annabelle's having real problems with her internet, isn't she? Annabelle, do we have you? Crumbs. All right. Well, let's hope that she's going to be back again soon. I'm going to go on. Thank you for that, Stephen, for that question. If you have who has a question? Who has another question? Hello, Megan, Eliza Scott. All right, Kerry Warbis. Right. we're going to unmute you. You shouldn't have been muted in the first place. That was rather rude of me. So Kerry, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. How are you?
Not too bad. How's it feel to be co-hosting Dum-de-dum?
Well, it happened very gradually, kind of, out of the blue, really. Guested for one time and then a slot became available. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. Thank you for having me.
Well,
I'm sorry, I've had to change rooms and venues. I'm now in my son's bedroom because the internet is playing up where it was before. I'm so sorry.
Well, we've got Kerry here, Annabelle. She wants to ask you a question.
Okay.
Hi, Annabelle.
Hi, Kerry.
Hiya. I wondered what advice you might give to Natasha.
Oh, God. Oh, my word. Well, I don't know, because Tom is just a different person almost with Natasha. I don't know. She's such a different person, because I don't think Natasha would ever take advice from Kirsty. I think that Natasha just rules
That's
the
true.
roost there. She plows on. I don't think Kirsty would ever give advice apart from just don't believe you. Because, I mean, Kirsty was so shocked. It came from nowhere to her, him dumping at the altar. So I think Kirsty with Tom would think you just never know what Tom could do next. That would be her advice, which isn't really advice. But I think at the moment Tom is smitten and that's it. But
Yeah.
I think Kirsty's lost for words. She still probably can't fathom it out why he did what he did.
Yeah, there's a lot of love for you on the Twitters and people saying, oh, come on, make something good happen for Kirsty. We don't want this awful thing around the corner. So I wondered if you could write a storyline for Kirsty, what would it be?
Oh, gosh. Well, you want her to find happiness and you want her to find love with someone. And I would love her to have a child. That's the one thing that I sort of struggled with this storyline with Philip, because I thought she so obviously told him that she wanted a baby when she was there with Lexi, and we really saw how broody she was. And I myself, Annabelle, was frustrated that she just sort of let that go. And I can't believe for a minute that's going to go away. And there is still time for her to have a baby. So I think she wants that so badly that I'm hoping that does happen in the future. On the other hand, you don't want her to be sort of happily married and have a baby and it all to be lovely, because then you just won't get any good storylines anymore. And even though I know people think, oh God, the script writers must have it in for her, she has all these terrible things happen to her, it makes for good drama and it's more fun as an actor. But I would love her to have, I'd like there to be a second generation of Kirstys.
Yes, yeah, agree.
I thoroughly agree as well. Though I have to quickly say that on YouTube, Dr. Overton says that Kirsty's weakness is her choice in partners. That's actually
that is true. That is very true. Yeah.
Thank you for that on YouTube. And the other thing is, when you said that Tom is a different person with Natasha, you were right. It's a different actor.
Oops. Yeah.
How does it feel?
How does it feel?
Playing opposite another actor, playing such a central character to the development of Kirsty. How's that actually been?
Oh, it's fine now. It's fine. I mean, I think at the beginning, it wasn't, at the end of the day, Kirsty's the same. I have to play Kirsty the same. It's more that you feel for the other actor because you think they haven't got all the history of doing all those scenes I did with the other Tom, so they don't have that knowledge of what it felt like for us to play that other storyline. So actually, for me, it was fine. I just act the same way I would and react to him the way what he's giving me with his performance. But of course, you have to get used to it, the new actor. But we've had lots of that in the Archers, so we're sort of used to it.
But before I come back onto Kerry, just on that though, I kind of think there's some characters that you just couldn't actually replace.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I mean, you
Like,
think, say, Linda Snell would be a tough one to replace. Yeah.
yeah, you just couldn't.
Yeah, there are some.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Couldn't replace Kirsty, could they?
Oh, I hope not. They better flipping hadn't.
Kerry, have you got another question?
I think we should throw it open, really, because there's always, people with their hands waving, and I've had two already. So,
All right, so I'm coming over to you, Dumteedumers. Christina's just playing with her hair. Hello, Keith Flett, Ambridge Socialist. If you've got a question, now is your time to wave a pinky in the air, and I will come to you. So I'm going through the mass Dumteedumers. All right, Rosie, your questions are always so blooming good, Rosie. Right, I think. You're trying to make me redundant on my own podcast. You're gunning for my role. Rosie, your time is up. Not your time is up. Your time is ready. Go for it. Ask your question.
You're so slick, Royfield. It's amazing.
Hardly.
It must be your years of professionalism in the podcasting.
You know what? You best stop. Go on.
So, Annabelle, lovely to see you, and thanks so much for keeping Kirsty with us for many years. My question is, in terms of kind of Kirsty's future economic self-sufficiency, is there an opportunity for her? Because obviously, there will be a big, cataclysmic, nightmarish relationship breakdown, hopefully with Joy coming in to support Kirsty.
Well, yes.
When potentially bottles get thrown, etc. But I was just thinking about kind of a happier future for Kirsty could involve her maybe running her own wildlife sanctuary with Patrick from the Wildlife Trust.
I know.
And is there an opportunity?
Patrick?
Well, I'm sensing that kind of because Kirsty's now, getting on the old, on the old Zoom meetings, having her virtual hen parties, maybe she could get Patrick on the WhatsApp and then start thinking about some future creative career options. Because
yes, I think it's good. I was delighted when they did give her the job at the Wildlife Trust, because for years I've been saying, to some of the directors and stuff, come on, we've got to get her back with her eco-warrior roots. She's an environmentalist. She wouldn't be happy just sat in, the hotel the whole time at the leisure centre. And I'm glad they've kept her there because it gives her the interaction with Linda and some of the other great characters I love. But I'm so pleased that it's got her back outdoors and with wildlife. And so, yes, I would love a more senior role in the Wildlife Trust. So maybe we can make that happen and bring Patrick back. Because as far as I can remember, there's been 2 actors playing Patrick, and I think they only had like 2 episodes each. So maybe we should get him back.
I think so. I'm sensing kind of co-directors of a new rescue centre.
That would be good. I mean, she's going to need rescuing herself for a bit, let's face it. But let's hope wildlife can play a part in that.
Fingers crossed.
Wouldn't it be brilliant, though? Right, far be it from me to condone modern day slavery. Wouldn't it be awesome if the script writers could have us to believe that you could so compromise all of your ethics, at least for a time, and to go with it? It'd be like Ozark or Breaking Bad.
I know! It would be! Oh my word, it would be Ozark. I mean, I love that. I would love to play that part in Ozark. Yeah, it would be like that. It would be the Ambridge of Ozark, yes. I don't think it's going to happen, is it? Let's face it. But that, yeah, it won't happen. But I just hope she explodes. That's what I was saying when my internet went before. That when Jeremy Howe told me this, I said, please, can we hear Kirsty explode? Can we hear her at her most furious? So I really hope that happens. But, I have no say. I don't know. Maybe they'll make her very understanding of Philip. He'll be able to persuade her that he was doing it because he thought he was helping people out and giving them a home. Who knows? I really do not know. I'm not just saying that. I have no idea.
I must admit that if they could pull that off script writing wise, I would be, I'd be applauding from the rooftops. I don't think it can be done, but it'd be great for them to.
It would be great for a bit, yeah.
Right. So, any other questions? Wave now. All right, Glyn, full of love. It's my surrogate dad, even though you're only a few years older than me, Glyn.
Can you hear me? Okay, because I'm outside.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so. Ambridge has just been a place of misery for Kirsty. I mean, you remind us tonight that Sam Batten had 2-timed you even before, or after Tom did. So you were 2-timed, you've been jilted, you've had a miscarriage, you've swam in a polluted river. The guy who polluted the river came and lived next door to you. Why is Kirsty still in Ambridge? I mean, with that so much misery, anyone else would have gone years ago. Why is she still there?
They need her for the village show. The Christmas show can't survive without Kirsty. She's one of their best actors, please. Canterbury Tales, Calendar Girl, she did all the GNS. She's that is why. That is it. They need her at Christmas. That's all I'm saying. No, I agree with you. I mean, frankly, there's not many people that would still be there. But I don't know. I think she likes a drama. She likes a trauma and she gets through it. And then the scriptwriters just wait to give her another one.
I feel guilty about asking the question because it's feeding your paranoia as an actor, but
Oh, stop!
I think it's the question we all ask.
No, please, no. They're not going to kill her off, are they? Oh dear.
Thanks
Philip,
for the question, Glyn. All right, so let's go back. Who else has got a question for Annabelle? All right, Mia Fox over there in Newcastle Land. You are up. Go for me. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi there, Annabelle. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
I just need to put my get on. We obviously completely love Krusty, as we like to refer to her. She was brilliant. The character was brilliant with Helen during the Rob situation, and she could start spotting things that were going on. And she was that tough friend for Helen. She's obviously a little bit blind to Philip, and you've articulated why she's kind of allowed him into her life, his older stable, etc. I think Helen's going to be the one to start spotting things about Philip. And if she does, do you think Kirsty would actually listen to her?
I don't know if it will be Helen. I mean, Helen was there at that dinner party, wasn't she, when they had that rather awkward uncle conversation. And it's Roy. It's Roy who, has had his suspicions or some doubts, I think. I don't know. I mean, I think if Helen did speak to her, she would listen. I think Helen, now that she's happy with Lee, it's not like Helen has no reason to want Kirsty to be. Helen's desperate for Kirsty to be happy. So maybe Helen's equally as blind at the moment. I think she is.
Maybe.
She's not picking up on anything. I don't know. I think it might be.
No.
I mean, I'm speculating here because I don't know. I haven't seen the next scripts I'm recording. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
No, I just think I'm very excited actually to see how it's all going to come out and how she's going to find out who's going to, provide the evidence or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
Well, maybe we'll get another Kirsty scream. That would be kind of cool.
I think we'll get some sort of outrage noise. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia. Again, back onto YouTube because they're chatting away on YouTube. Matthew Weir says it will be Kirsty herself with her left-leaning human rights instincts who will free the slaves herself. And then D.R. Overton says, "Oh, I like that." And then Kevin Levery says, "Very good point. It certainly won't be PC Burns, will it? Because he's
I don't think it will be him. No. He'll be rescuing another llama or something, To
be fair to old Harrison Burns, there was the scene just before lockdown where Gavin, it was cricket practice, and Gavin Moss was obviously really good, and everybody was saying, well, we should get him for the Ambridge cricket team, and Harrison Burns said no, and used excuse that he's not a permanent resident of the village. So that could be a clue, everybody, that maybe Harrison in his investigations has worked out a little bit more than we all think. But that's just purely me speculating. I've only ever got one storyline right in 6 years of analysing the Archers. So what do I? Right, another question, folks. Wave now. Whilst we have our Annabelle ready to answer your questions. By the way, I've got to say hello, Lillian. I can see you there. I'm waving back to you. shame there's no picture around this week, but so glad that my descriptions of the pictures mean that you can actually now fully join in, even though you're not sighted. So thank you for pointing out. I should be more descriptive. Do we have any more questions? I'm going on to the third screen. Oh, Jan Mitchell over there in British Columbia in Canada. It's your time. There you go, Jan.
Hi, Annabelle. It's great to have you with us, and I've really been enjoying all the talk today. Do you think that Kirsty will believe that Philip has done these things? Like, at first, will she pretty much be in denial, or do you think that she'll accept the truth when she hears it?
I think she'll be in denial. I think what you're insinuating there, that she won't believe, is totally right. I mean, it's just so left field at the moment for her. There's nothing, and also it's not something we generally hear about or hear anyone we know doing. So it's so foreign, and I think I think it's going to take a long time for her to get her head around it. I think she'll be in denial at first, and then if she does meet the slaves, if she does find them, I just think she's not going to understand. And I think it's going to take a very long time, and it's going to have a huge effect on her, and on her confidence, on her self-belief, in her being just, it not being able to see the truth. I think it's awful, actually. I can't imagine how it's going to affect her. You just think it's going to take a long time to get over this one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jan Mitchell. So we've talked about, Annabelle, GM crops. That's how you kind of came in. You were saddled with Tom Mark 1. Then you went off with Sam. Then
you've forgotten, and I don't know if it was before Sam or after. Csaba. Was Csaba after? Csaba the Hungarian. Was he not before Sam? Csaba, he was a farmhand. Does no one else remember Csaba?
I had completely forgotten all about
your quiz question. I think Csaba should have been one of the multiple choice there.
So much for me and my research. Because you know what? You're completely right. Because I used to, when Csaba came on, I used to go, Csaba. It was like, I'd forgotten all about him.
Yeah. And we used to laugh because he was properly Hungarian. He was a Hungarian actor. I think he was the only Hungarian actor in Spotlight, with the actors sort of catalogue. I think the BBC had just sort of, Googled Spotlight, search Hungarian actors to get the proper Hungarian accent. And this lovely actor turned up who spoke the Queen's English sort of better than I did. He didn't really sound Hungarian at all. But he was a very nice guy. I've not seen him since.
You obviously, there is the career that you have, and you want to remain part of Ambridge, a part of the Archers. You don't go in anytime soon. But there's been some kind of speculation with us listeners that you've been burnt with Tom, not once but twice, spectacularly the second time. There is no way this can end well with Philip. No way. Are we going to end up with a Kirsty that just forgoes men, that basically just says, I don't need somebody else to complete me, and will be like a dame matriarch in the village, a la Marjorie Antrobus, like, don't need a man, whatever, but you're there, your presence is very forceful?
I think she might go through that stage. I think she will naturally want to be on her own, think, I do not need a man in my life. I'm independent. I'm okay without it. They have brought me no. There's nothing good to have come out of any of her relationships. Once this comes out. However, Kirsty's a passionate woman. She's fun. She likes to cohabit. She likes to share life with someone else. I think she'll have her head turned by someone else eventually. I hope she does. I don't want her to be on her own.
Roy Tucker. You need a dynamic lover like Roy Tucker, don't you?
You see, I love Kirsty and Roy's friendship. And Ian, you had Ian last week, but we always say we love having scenes together. I love acting with him. He's a great actor, and it's really natural, their friendship. And and the scripts are very natural for them. And we always say we don't want anything to happen because we just love their brotherly, sisterly friendship. It's very platonic. It's very sibling-like, and I really like that. And I love that he's become, you know, a proper best friend to her. So I don't want that to be. It's got to be someone else. Don't know who yet. We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe they should import another Hungarian in.
Maybe get old Chabba back.
All right, folks, we're starting to wind things down. I'm just going to quickly go back onto gallery view. Is there anybody who'd like to ask one last question? Hello, Melly, over there in Scotland, waving at you. Francesca Word Salad is over there in Cardiff. He's waving. Do you have a question, Melly? You do? All right, brilliant. You're up. If I haven't unmuted you, go and unmute yourself.
Yep, done it myself. We're cool. So, Kirsty, if you've listened to Dum-de-dum, we just feel like she gets a terrible, terrible deal. But you have been Kirsty for longer than I've been listening to the Archers. Are you comfortable with Kirsty getting a raw deal for you to keep getting to be Kirsty? Because she really, really does take the flack.
She does.
Actress, actor, sorry, that's correct. But when you said 21 years, I've been listening for maybe 13, and it hadn't occurred to me that you had been there so much longer. So Kirsty must be totally part of you, but they really give her a bum deal.
Well, they do, but then for years with Tom, she was with Tom for 15 years, and there were a lot of good times in those years as well. And she's had her friendship with Roy and then Lexi, and she always has fun with the Christmas shows. But yeah, there's been a lot of big life-changing, damaging events. So she does get, I can't deny it. She gets a rough deal in life, and but she is a bit of a survivor, and she's got an inner strength. And I just don't know how this is going to span out, this storyline. We just don't know. This is going to affect her, I think, more than Tom in a way, because
it's going to affect her morals more, I think.
Her morals, everything, just how she was so blind to it, how it just, it's one thing with Tom, him having a sort of crisis himself and needing to just get away and sort himself out, but to discover this double identity in your partner, I just cannot imagine how she's going to, get her head around that and get through it. We'll have to see. I do not know. I imagine Philip, because the thing is, Philip, it sounds weird for me to say this now, but he has always seemed to her a very good man. And that's why it's going to be so hard for her to see this other side to him. And he believes he is a good man. He thinks he's doing something to help these guys. And so he'll be trying to convince her of that for a long time. So it's going to be very difficult and very interesting to see how she works it all out mentally and how she survives.
Can I throw in a quick other question? And it's something you just said a few minutes ago about Kirsty and Roy in a real kind of brotherly sister relationship. That's totally not how I've interpreted it. I've interpreted it as Roy is idealising Kirsty, and Kirsty has no interest in Roy, so it's blasé, it's fine, but that Roy, every time he says her name, it's just got this Kirsty to it.
Well, I know what you mean, and it could be that in the future it is one of those friendships where they suddenly realise, it's so obvious we should be together. They could take it that way. I think Roy adores. Roy was the one who was there when she miscarried, and he ran the hospital, took her there. They've been through so much together, and I don't think Kirsty's ever been attracted to Roy, but you don't know, do you?
Well, Lizzie wasn't attracted to him before the incident.
Exactly.
Thank you for answering that. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melly. Just the last of the points over on the YouTubes. Dr. Oberton says, I like the idea of Kirsty discovering Philip's foibles for the slave trade. You know what they need to do? They need to have a statue of Phillip Moss in the middle of Ambridge on the Philip, just so he can be toppled. I'll put my knee on his.
Oh my word!
You won't be able to breathe, I tell you.
Oh my God!
And then Kevin Levy says, he likes that idea. So do I. With her credible, believable ethics from GM crops to anti-hunting, pro-wildlife, she's one of the most credible, believable characters in the Archers. I never understood when you got with, not with you, and Kirsty got with Philip, that the fact that he went on the hunt. I was like, Kirsty wouldn't put up for that, but I'm going to let that one go. I think that was a mistake.
Let's let it go, and let's let's let it go. And actually, it's not really been mentioned since, has it? He's not been hunting for a while. So yeah, I think that was, they were introduced to each other with their contradictory opinions at the town meeting, village meeting, but that was it. Yeah.
Kevin ends up by saying she's one of the most credible, believable characters in the Archers. We all love Kirsty, and Kirsty Miller is a fan.
Oh, well, that's very nice. I mean, no, I know some people don't like her, but then we all have that. So.
No, nonsense. Speaking to Graham Seed a couple of weeks ago, he said he was really, he said, I've played this role for 28 years, and interestingly, he said when he first joined the cast of the Archers, you could, as an actor, say to the producer, to William Smethurst, I don't think my character would say this, do that. And occasionally you go, I think you're right. And also, not that he had a hand in future storylines, but like he could actually say, well, how about if I get with Lizzie as opposed to Shula? That was kind of great. And William was like, I like that. Do you think, and I'm being a little bit naughty here, this is the very last question, do you think that, considering that, producers come and go, writers are a little bit more of a stable bunch, but they do change, that senior actors, and I'm saying you're one of those now because you've been there for 20 odd years, should have a little bit more input out of the old days, because you wake up and sleep with the character like nobody else.
It's a tricky one because the cast is much bigger now than when Graham was, when Graham started, much bigger. And so if they invited us to offer ideas, I think they'd just be inundated by all these actors going, well, I think my character should do this, and I think I would do this, and I would never do that, and it would just be too much. I mean, I've mentioned the odd thing, Christmas drinks. I've sort of had a word in the ear of one of the writers, and I think because I'm comfortable there and I love working there and I know all the directors. You don't get to see the writers a lot, by the way. You hardly ever see the writers, but the directors, you sometimes try and eke a bit of information out of them, and they don't give away much. I mean, although I said to Jeremy, I did say to Jeremy early on with Philip, I said, do you think, I think I asked him, because I said, I think it was the first scene that Kirsty was saying, I love you to Philip. And I said to Jeremy, I've not actually been in it the last few months, and I don't know, we haven't had that many episodes on air with Philip, and suddenly I'm saying, I love you. Do you want to sound like she means it? Does she mean it? Because I don't know if she does or not. I genuinely didn't know because I hadn't had enough episodes to sort of explore the relationship. And he went, yeah. And I said, well, she does want to have children. And Philip is a lot older. And he went, yeah, so what? Brian Aldridge, he had Rory when he was older. And so he just said, it might not be the most passionate relationship in the world. It's not Tom and Natasha, the way they started, but she does genuinely love Philip. And I think Philip just adores her. I think that's one thing about Philip. Even though he's got this other thing going on and there's obviously this darker side to him, I think he genuinely adores Kirsty and loves her. And she feels that. Otherwise, I don't think there's got to be some truth to their relationship.
Amen to that, sister. Very, very, very last question. This is from the YouTube. It's from Fads44. He says, you're coming from the fine city of Liverpool. It's Southport, isn't it? Did I remember?
Formby, actually, Royfield.
Sorry.
In between Southport and Liverpool, yeah.
Merseyside. Right. Coming from the fine area of Merseyside, he says, is Annabelle red or blue?
Oh, God, reds! Is anyone else celebrating from last night?
Well, good, congratulations then.
Not that I saw the match. We don't have Sky or whatever you needed. I saw the highlights, the match of the day. That was it.
It's all you need.
My family are pure red. Yeah.
30 years of hurt are over. All right, so folks, it's on to the Annabelle Dowler quiz. We're gonna rattle through these questions. Now, not presuming. Here's the thing which I didn't quite say before, Annabelle. Every Archers actor who we've had on has got all of their questions right, apart from Ian.
Oh.
Ian got a couple of them wrong.
Right.
So let's hope that you're going to be all correct here then, shall we? Right, so first question, right, and you're going to answer them.
Okay.
Where has Kirsty not worked? A, Jack's Bar, B, Ambridge Organics, C, the Village Shop.
C, the Village Shop.
Boom, 1 for 1. We like that. What year were Tom and Kirsty arrested for crop damage? Was it 1999, 2005, or 2010?
1999.
Yeah, and we've said this kind of so many times, like 21 years in the show.
Yeah.
So, right, after your first breakup from Tom, other than Shabba, who did Kirsty date? Was it Sam Batten, Jazza McCreary, or Christopher Carter?
Well, it was Shabba, but anyway, Sam. Out of that list, Sam.
Out of that list, okay. All right. Well done, you're 3 for 3.
Wow.
You've now matched with Ian, right? So,
come on.
This one to beat him. What year did Tom first jilt Kirsty? Was it 2005, 2010, or 2015?
I'm going to say 2005.
You are correct. And then the last question is, after Kirsty's gut-wrenching scream at the altar, what did Joe Grundy say at the end of that episode? I knew it would never last, but... B, that scream could be remixed into a cheesy dance hit. Or C, where are we going to get our dinner now?
Where are we going to get our dinner now?
That is it. 5 for 5. Well done. You got bragging rights over Ian. Well done, Annabelle. Now I'm going on to speak of you. Did anybody get all 5 of those right? Right. So Claire Asprey did. Daniel Quirk did. Who else? Steve, you did also. I'm just going to go into the other screen. I'm going to go back. Oh, Carolyn Cooper. I'm going to come to you. Unmute yourself there, Carolyn. Sarah,
hello, Royfield. You keep doing this to me.
Well, you've got these all correct. We've got to give you a moment.
Yeah, shame there wasn't any pictures. I'm terrible at that.
I don't know what happened. I think I'm going to have to do is maybe put the picture round questions up on Twitter later. But I've done them, but Zoom won't share them, I'm afraid. But Carolyn, you don't win anything other than the opportunity to say you got all the questions right.
Brilliant, thank you.
Anybody else get all those questions right whose name I haven't mentioned? Lillian, you got them all right. Props to you, Lillian. And I'm coming back. Oh, Scarlet Sparrow and Glyn Fuller Love. All right, Scarlet Sparrow, we need to speak to you. There you go, Scarlet Sparrow. Have you unmuted yourself?
Fine. Hello.
There you go. Big ups to you, Scarlet Sparrow. How long have you been listening to the Archers?
Forever. Yes, I think I'm a Marjorie Antrobus.
So you're an Antrobus just like me.
Yes.
So mid-80s.
Yes.
All right. And
long time.
Who is your favourite soon-to-kick their soon-to-be husband in the Knackers character in the Arch?
It is Kirsty. It has always been Kirsty since she arrived.
Thank you.
Very excited tonight.
Thank you.
Well, I think, folks, that's been us on a Friday evening. Sunny's out in Birmingham. It is sweltering.
It's sweltering here. I've got sweat by the minute. I do apologise.
Well, you can see that I'm glowing here. It's that time when we have to put our hands together and give our Annabelle Dowler a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And this episode will go up on YouTube. will go up on YouTube immediately, and I will also put this out as a podcast, and I've had to mute everybody. Annabelle, thank you for spending your Friday evening with us. And
thank you.
You know what? You don't need a man. You don't. She doesn't need a man.
She doesn't need a man. She doesn't need a man.
You don't. Kick him properly in the cobblers and it's actually going to be you that's going to find out. And you're not going to hesitate. You're going to as soon as you find out, you're going to be like, Phillip Moss, you're a bastard. And you're going to nod.
Right, I hope you're right.
Yeah. And then, you know what? You're just like, sisters doing it for themselves. Give it all of that,
Yeah.
In the village.
We shall discuss after.
Listen, everybody, thank you for being part of Dum-de-dum does Zoom. Next week is our last one. It's going to be Tim Bentinck, the original OG of the whole Ambridge shooting match. He's going to be our last one of our Friday does Zoom before we go on to Patreon. I'm really sorry about that. But so don't forget, same time, same place, same back channel, Dum-de-dum does Zoom. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.